What will be the split for Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford if Errol Spence is to be successful over your Dennis Ugas? Let's talk.
Straighter, not a roundhouse right hand.
And that's what we've been talking about. The straight shot is the one where he gets leverage on it.
I don't want to kill
Pull
somebody
back
for
a little
few
bit.
seconds.
Nah, I want a body on my record.
Now, I want to see you fight motherfuckers. I do. All right, I'm with you. I'm with you. As long as you're trying to fight the greats, the best competition.
Welcome to the graveyard. Click the link if you dare to. Bury you alive, I'm prepared to. Welcome to the graveyard. You get your sources from clowns, so when you come around, we don't hear you. Welcome to the graveyard. Click the link if you dare to. Bury you alive, I'm prepared to. Welcome to the graveyard. You get your sources from clowns, so when you come around, we don't hear you. Yo, it's the best, fight the best. If you ain't with the moto, just click the link, bitch, and get buried like the rest. It ain't gonna work how you want it. These trolls already tried, too many come but don't leave. So if you hear, you gotta die. I'm spitting straight facts. These bitches crying cause they hate that. The LDBC's the top topic, bitch, hate that. We the ones that bring the truth to these fans. So while you hate, I'ma laugh and keep counting these bands. Welcome to the graveyard. Click the link if you dare to. Bury you alive, I'm prepared to. Welcome to the graveyard. You get your sources from clowns, so when you come around, we don't hear you. Welcome to the graveyard. Click the link if you dare to. Bury you alive, I'm prepared to. Welcome to the graveyard. You get your sources from clowns, so when you come around, we don't hear you.
Welcome to the graveyard.
So, right now, the split is 60-40. That is what Errol Spence is offering. That is what Errol Spence said it should be. That's what he said. Terrence Crawford said he wants 50-50 or no fight. And if anybody's going to get 60%, it should be him. That's what he said. So they based this on his accolades or what he did at 140. What did at 140? The craziest thing is they have no example of anybody. No example of anybody. So they can say this is how it works. They have no example. Nobody can pick one person to say if you look at what they did when they were undisputed and they moved up, they were the A side to the guy whose numbers were bigger. If you looked at somebody from a lower weight class and their accolades were better than the guy in a higher weight class, when the guy from the lower weight class moved up and fought the guy who was the money man in the division, he was the A side because of his accolades in the lower divisions. You cannot even find one. You cannot even find one. But yet, these people will run around saying this weird-ass nonsense. That's fine. No problem. No problem. No problem. I have no beef. I have no issue. If that's your process, if that's your thought process, that's fine. What I'm asking is, what is the split now? What's the split? Because the only issue, the only thing that's holding up the fight is the money split. That's what's holding up the fight. So if that's what's holding it up, what is the split? Oh, he'd still get 50-50. So even if you put it on its face value, right? Even if you put it on face value and you say he should get 50-50 for Errol Spence last year. Face value. So Errol Spence had 2 belts. Terrence Crawford had 1. But Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford is a 50-50 split fight. Okay. So accolades, because of his accolades, that's why it's 50-50. Because of his accolades. Okay. So if Errol Spence is to be successful and get a third belt. And Terrence Crawford only has one belt. And it was 50-50 when Errol Spence had two belts. And Terrence Crawford had one belt. Then how the fuck, based on accolades, is it a 50-50 split? So what you guys are you're saying, and what you want me to believe, is that Errol Spence's accolades don't mean nothing. The only accolades that matter are Terrence Crawford's accolades. That's what you guys want me to believe. Crawford's accolades are the only accolades that matter. Does he have accolades? Yes, he does. Yes, he does have accolades. He has accolades. Congratulations. Dust them off. Put them on your shelf. You know, your mom can go ahead and hold on to them. Your grandkids and your kids can look at them and say, my daddy did this. Cool. No problem. That's fine. No problem whatsoever. However, if when Errol Spence had one and two belts, if Errol Spence, when he had one and two belts, those are accolades. If at that time, all y'all were running around here talking about it's a 50-50, 50-50, it's got to be a 50-50. Bud wants 50-50, and Bud's accolades says 50-50. Bud's accolades say he deserves 50-50. Okay, that's fine. Now, when Errol has three belts, if he's successful, how does Errol's accolades keep adding on, but yet the split stays 50-50? Terrence Crawford is not adding on his accolades. His shit is stagnant. You won the WBO belt years ago. You have not added anything on to that. The fighters that you fought, Errol Spence already beat. So how does the purse split based on accolades remain the same? How is that even feasible? Like how is that even a conversation? Oh man, it should be 50-50. So if Errol Spence is to be successful and have three belts and beat your Dennis Ugas and Danny Garcia and Sean Porter, and Kell Brook for three belts, and then go into the fight with you with one belt, no extra accolades, nothing. And it was 50-50 last year when EJ had two belts. How in the fuck is it still 50-50 when he gets another one? When his accolades are still rising. If you want to talk accolades, his accolades are still going. He's still adding on. See, y'all fucked yourself. Now, you can't say, oh, but he was undisputed. Errol was never undisputed. Errol was never undisputed. And Terrence Crawford was never. Errol Spence was never a undisputed 140-pound champion. And Terrence Crawford was never a unified welterweight champion. Never. Oh, it doesn't matter. You know, he was a multi-division champion. He was a 135-pound champion. Errol Spence was never a 135-pound champion. You are correct. Errol Spence was never a 135-pound champion. And Terrence Crawford was never a unified welterweight champion. What are we saying? Like, I'm baffled at what we're talking about right now. Like, where is this thought process of you people? Where is your minds at? Like, how is it okay? Like, and I sit around, I'm just like, you. So Errol can add accolades. Terrence Crawford does nothing. And it's still 50-50. So no matter what Errol Spence does, no matter what he does, he will never be 60-40 according to y'all. It's always going to have to be a 50-50 split because Terrence Crawford was undisputed at 140. But y'all don't keep the same energy with anybody else. Anthony Joshua versus Usyk was not a 50-50 split at all. When Holyfield, the undisputed cruiserweight champion, moved up, he did not do 50-50 splits with nobody. It didn't happen. But mysteriously, it's Errol Spence that needs to do it. I ask y'all, I'm asking y'all, even if you said the fight was 50-50 last year, even if that's what you said, I mean, the most deep diving bud dick riders on earth, you gotta admit, Errol Spence, if you said it was 50-50 back then when he had 2 belts, if he gets a third, how the fuck can it be 50-50? You are muting your own accolades excuse. You're muting it. You're taking away. If last year you wanted to say, okay, all right, cool. Listen, man, he had 2 belts. He didn't beat no Pacquiao, but he had 2 belts, and I beat Jeff Horn, and Jeff Horn beat Pacquiao. So 50-50 fight. If that's your thought process, your Dennis Ugas retired Manny Pacquiao. Your Dennis Ugas beat Pacquiao better than Jeff Horn. He retired that man. So if your Dennis Ugas beat Pacquiao, the same fighter that Jeff Horn beat, he beat him, right? And it wasn't in no motherfucking Australia where it wasn't in Cuba where your Dennis Ugas had some home cooking. No, you beat Pacquiao in America, where Pacquiao was the bigger star than Ugas. That was not Ugas' hometown. And Ugas beat Pacquiao. So if Errol Spence beats Ugas, who beat Pacquiao, using your own logic, how can you, in your rightful mind, say that it's still 50-50? How can you do this? In your rightful mind. How can you say, well, listen, Bud, he still deserves 50%? You was given, you wanted 50-50 split last year. That's what you wanted last year, the year before that. How can one fighter continually add accolades after you already said when they didn't have those accolades, when they both had 1 belt, y'all motherfuckers were saying 50-50 when they both had 1 belt. Well, EJ will now add 2 more. How can you, in your right mind, can you still stand on 50-50 or no fight? How in your right mind? You do not want the fight. And then you'll have niggas hit me up, talk about, oh man, I don't care about the money. Do you want the fight or not? I don't care about the money. Which you'll see in the morning grind. Matter of fact, you already seen in the morning grind. But that's what they'll say to you. That's what they'll say. Oh, I don't care about the purse split, man. I don't care. I don't care about the money, man. I just want to see the fight. Do you want to see the fight? Do you want to see the fight or not? Do you want to see the fight? I don't care about the splits. You do. Yes, you do. You do care. And I proved it. You care. But yet, for this fight and this fight only, no one wants to talk about the money. But in every fight before this one, in every fight, even other fights after this, y'all talk about the money. You talk about the money so much, y'all are asking what's the splits. You're asking, oh man, well, how many pay-per-views did it sell? Y'all literally are asking that. Sending me fucking DMs and Instagram messages talking about, oh, Thurman didn't sell this much. Or Thurman sold this much. When those numbers haven't even been posted. Y'all are giving me rumors. Which is why I haven't spoke on it. But the bottom line is, you do care about the split. You gotta care about the split. Because that's what's holding up the fight. The split. BFTB. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. And I'm out.